Alright. Hi, everyone. I have 15 minutes to tell you about the book Alan Quartermaine, tell you what I'll be reviewing in the future, and maybe a little channel update if there's time. This is my second take doing this. Yeah. Let's get started. Alan Quartermaine was a very interesting book because I had read the first one on a thing that they they have like the tapes, and you put in the tapes, and it reads you the book, and it's brought to you by the Library for the Blind here in America. Um, but anyway, I don't think that a person will enjoy this as much if they haven't read the first book. My favorite H. Rider Haggard novel is still She Who Must Be Obeyed. Yeah, that's still, and I doubt if I read any of the other 50 books he wrote, that would be toppled. But that's just pure speculation on my part. And it's also interesting because they fall firmly, that is, the books he wrote, fall firmly in the Lost City camp, where, or Lost World camp, rather, where it's part of the mysterious Lost City. And you have to remember, H. Rider Haggard did go on these expeditions to real life Africa, but he's trying to make it sound more fantastical because he's appealing to a white woman audience that was kind of like Hetty on Ghost. If you haven't seen Ghost, very Victorian ladies. That's who I think the target audience was. So he embellished a little and probably didn't want to appeal to racism and made it more appealing. So they made it so there were secret white people in the Congo. Or not the Congo, rather, Zubendis. And his sidekick from the first book, he's here, but at the same time, not as big a character, I don't think. I didn't remember because the funny thing about H. Rider Haggard's writing style is it doesn't really stick with you. It's not like, oh my god, I read that. It's so profound. It's not like reading A Christmas Carol or The Hobbit or A Brave New World by Lionel Huxley. It's not one of those books that will pop into my head or I'm going to revisit anytime soon. I might revisit the very end. I finished the book because I enjoy the movie The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the adaptation of the Alan Moore thing. as a comic book fan, comic books, comic book here, comic book there. Um, none of them are Alan Moore, but as a comic book fan, that very much appealed to me. And every the the narrator or performer they had to perform the audio retelling of the story. Every time he spoke, I thought about Sean Connery in that movie. I was disappointed to see he didn't get guaranteed that Africa wouldn't let him die, like he says in that movie. As far as I can tell, that was a complete fabrication for that particular version of Alan Quartermaine. But that may be just me. It may be that I'm just not remembering the first novel correctly. And if you know better, tell me in the comments. But needless to say, we don't finish the novel with Alan Quartermaine. He dies at the very end. He dies of a stroke or drug dependency or whatever you want him to die of, because it's really not clear. I mean, he's hawking up black goo. That's as far as you get. So maybe lung cancer. I really don't know. But it was kind of weird that way. And they had it been a had they not been secret white people, they would have the tribe they found. It would have been one of the first mixed marriages in history, because Good falls madly in love with this woman. It would have been a beautiful love story. Good's like his companion or whatever, and he becomes king. Spoilers for a well over a 50-year-old book. Quartermaine doesn't become king, but Good, the guy that's with him for most of the journey, becomes king or consort or something. And part of the book is retold in his perspective. For the majority of it, though, you get Quartermaine. I think Good or his brother or someone finishes it out, though, because at the very end, you see that Quartermaine is no longer, and this is what happened after the bad guy dies and everything is all said and done. Did it make me want to read another H. Rider Haggard? Yes. I find that very fascinating that we perceive the world the way we do now versus the way we did back when Fu Manchu was made, or Alan Quartermaine, or King Soloman's Mines. You know, that just appeals to me. I know I haven't explained it all that well, the history behind it, but if you really want to watch that, Big Picture Bob has it. Movie Bob has a much more interesting view about the Lost City phenomena and how why and how I think he was writing for Victorian ladies and he was embellishing for that time. H. Rider Haggard. Don't get me wrong, he's a very skilled writer, but at the same time, if someone put his books in a collection like they did Lovecraft, I bet you it all start to blend together. Because Lovecraft kinda did toward the end, but that beginning was one of the strongest beginnings of all the writers I've ever seen or heard. And don't get me wrong, again, the narrator did a very good job. I could pretend he was Sean Connery, and that makes it even greater. So, yeah. So I will be reviewing this next, and comparing it to this Static Shock. And finishing out with this. That doesn't appeal to you. My next book review will be in a few months. It will be All Hail the Pumpkin Queen, sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's more modern day than this book, so it won't have the casual racism. It won't have the awkward. It won't be so awkward where I have to explain. Okay, they claim there was a secret white kingdom in or around the Zulus or Congo in Africa. They claim, and it's like, no, just you had the potential to make it a great story. They just made it an okay story. I'm sorry if that seems a little awkward, but hey, I'm kind of nervous. I'm working on a timer. Again, I'm trying to make these videos shorter. If you liked this review, please like, comment, subscribe. Did you watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? How cool was Mr. Hyde? Would you like me? Would you like to hear me review more of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen canon? I have the peculiar case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde already lined up. Would you like to hear a review on King Soloman's mines? Let me know. I've been Bob. This has been my world. That was my thoughts on Alan Quartermaine, the sequel to Alan Quartermaine and King so- King Solomon's King Solomon's Mines. Bob out. I liked how the bad guy died. How there was definite justice. Yeah. Spear right through the heart. Yeah. And she couldn't live without good. Yeah. I don't know. Take care, everybody.